Hi guys, Ian here. Welcome to my day and to my channel and to another video. And as you can see, it's one of my car ramblings again. And what's on my mind at the minute is just thoughts of, I'm not going to say the purpose of life, that sounds far too grand. So I'm going to say the purpose of form. What is the purpose of dense matter? And then, of course, from that, as we are made of dense matter, or at least part of us is made of dense matter, what is the purpose of our experience of dense matter? So some would argue that there is no real purpose to dense matter, that it just happened. It's all happenstance, a coincidence, a result of billions of random happenings which bring everything in creation to the place that it's at right now. Now, to me, that doesn't make any kind of sense at all. It's just, it stretches the bounds of my credibility to a breaking point. That something like this, and I'm only talking about the things that I can see and know right now, something as amazingly wonderful as the world and all that's in it, happened just as a result of coincidence, happenstance, and random happenings. No, I cannot accept that. It just doesn't sit with me. It doesn't feel right. I can't believe it. There's something in me that denies that to be true. So then, if it's not all those things, what is it? If creation is for a purpose, what is that purpose? Well, the spiritual person, the person who sees the world behind the world, would have an answer that is something, although perhaps not exactly like this, that the purpose of creation is to fulfill the will of the Infinite One, the Source, the Unity, God, for want of a better name. And by that I mean the God of all religions, because remember, all the gods are one God, and all the goddesses are one goddess, and there is one initiator of creation. That's a kind of an adapted quote from Dion Fortune. And so if creation is come about as the result of the intention of the infinite being, what is that intention? Well, I think the pinnacle of the creation of the divine, as we know it, is us, we, the human species. So can we say then that the world is created that we might live and exist in matter? That the world, and the beautiful jewel that it is that our environment might be rich and full and wonderful. That the backdrop of our lifetimes which we have for a purpose, can be beautiful. I think so. I think it is the scene on which, the stage on which the scenes of our lives are enacted in this, our planet Earth, an aspect of Malkut, dense matter. So if that sits okay with us, then let's move on to, if this environment is here that we might live in it, and bear in mind that we share it with myriad other species, who I believe we have an accountability for. If we are the pinnacle of creation, then we have a responsibility to deal fairly and respectfully and kindly with all those species which are in our care. And we fail this duty miserably so often. And we fail to care for our planet so often. But that's another story. Let's stick with the why we're here. At least the conclusions that I have come and am coming to. So what then is the purpose of our lifetime in flesh on planet Earth? Well, again, you'll have a load of answers depending on your position, I suppose. Some who would have no spiritual beliefs would say, well, we're here once, we're here to enjoy it, to get the most out of life, live it hard, live it fast. You don't get a second chance. Then there are others that would say, and perhaps this is more of a Christian approach, well, we are here to live good lives and to live to the glory of God. And then others would say, we are here to experience living. That we are here to know what a life in matter feels like. And I think that I take truth from the Christian view, and I take truth from the view that we are here to experience life. But I think I sit with another group who believe that we live a life in matter as part of a process of the evolution of our spirit. That all of matter, which is spirit, densified spirit, exists for a spiritual purpose, to achieve a spiritual end. And for us, that is evolving from infant spiritual beings to become what the infinite intends us to become. Because we've talked in the past, haven't we, about there being aspects of ourselves that often we seem disconnected from. That I believe that we are spirit, individuality or higher self, and personality. The personality that is me, that is Ian, in this body, in this existence, in this lifetime. And that this lifetime is meant to cause me to grow, to know and to understand. That I achieve spiritual development, spiritual growth. And the consequences of not knowing that, of just believing that we are, the personality that is Ian is it, that's what I am, is that I become disconnected from my higher purpose. And if I am disconnected from my higher purpose, I cannot work in cooperation with that process. If I know what I am and why I'm here, it gives me a much greater insight into the wonder that I am as a being, the wonder that we all are. If we know our purpose, we can work in cooperation with that process. And what will that mean? It'll mean our paths of evolution will be quicker, I guess, more streamlined. We can put our own effort of personality into walking the path, into continuing our journey. And because that journey, that divine journey, is always in our best interest, it isn't going to disadvantage us. It isn't going to demean us. It isn't going to make our lives unhappy and frustrated and painful. Although there may be pain in life, of course, because pain is part of the experience of our lives. Physical pain, emotional pain. We learn from it. We don't enjoy it, but we do learn from it. So if we know what we are, we can work in cooperation with our higher purpose. If we don't know what we are, then we can't work in cooperation, and our journey becomes hit and miss. We can operate and conduct ourselves in ways that goes against our best interest, that slows our our spiritual evolution down, that increases the work of karma in trying to shape us and teach us and cause us to know and accept the consequences of our existence. You know, I just ended this video and I said my goodbyes, see you next time. And as I walked away from my car to start doing what I came out to do, I suddenly thought, what do you mean cooperate with the process of spiritual evolution? And what do you mean when you talk about the purpose of life? It's so easy, isn't it, to get caught up in cliches where we can even deceive ourselves that we know what we're talking about and that we know what we mean. But behind the cliche that we use is an undistilled meaning, something that isn't formed clearly in our understanding. And I realised that when I said that, you know, if we are aware of ourselves, of our spirit, individuality, personality, we are more able to cooperate with the process of spiritual evolution. What on earth does that mean? The purpose of life, you know, that we are here, and I think I've said before, to wring every last drop out of life. What does that mean? It's just words. And as I was walking along, it really caused me to think. And I have done a little bit of thinking, and so I'm going to add to this video. So I'm going to try and slice this bit into the previous bit. And firstly, I have become aware, well, I knew this, that I don't know. There is much about the questions that I pose that I don't know. Because if I did know, then I would be there already. I would be at the end of my spiritual evolution, and clearly I'm not, because I'm still in matter. So, cooperating with the process through knowing what we are. I think what I mean by that is, if we have a more clear picture of the beings that we really are, there are certain ways that we will live our life which align ourselves to that process. There will be certain things that we will seek to know more of. There will be certain behaviours that we would probably be more inclined to adopt. I don't know what they all are. I guess I know what some of them are. But aligning with our spiritual process is about being the beings that we really are, and not being the beings that our personality limits us to think that we are. we are not just here and now, one lifetime, so let's do as we please beings. No, we are much more than that. So let's look at why we are here, the purpose of this life. And I think, and I'm going to struggle to express myself here because this is just coming out of my mind. It's new. I haven't had a chance to chew it over and edit it and refine it. It's about knowing, yes, but not knowing in a knowledge kind of way. It's about knowing in a way that you feel. Do you know what I mean? When you, sometimes I say, I know that, not just in my mind, but in every atom of every cell of my being. It's a feeling. It's a knowing that is an absolute certainty and a feeling. It's when a knowing becomes part of you. It isn't something that you've just taken in through your senses, through your sight, through your hearing, through your human understanding. It's something that has become part of the knowing that is you. So I think our lives on earth are to achieve that knowing that becomes part of who we are, that changes us, that we take it into ourselves, into our beings, and it changes us. It changes what we see, what we understand. It changes our values. It changes our understanding of things. It brings us to compassion. It changes us in ways that mean that there are some things that we can no longer do. There are some ways of behaving that we can no longer adopt, because the person that we are cannot do those things. Is this making any sense to anyone? I hope so. So what are the areas of knowing? Well, I do believe, right, that every aspect of life on earth is a reflection of a spiritual truth. You've heard me say it a million times, as above, so below. So our journey through our passage through life and our experiences is to distill what spiritual truth does this aspect of life represent, and what is its meaning? What is its meaning for me as a human being walking on the face of planet Earth, and what is its higher meaning for me as a spiritual being? What aspect of divinity do I see in this experience of my life, and how I am reacting to it? What am I learning about how I should react, maybe, or the reactions that are helpful to me and other people, the reactions that are not helpful to me and other people? What is the truth underneath it? What is its archetype? And through this process of seeing, understanding what is really in front of us, and reflecting on its deeper spiritual meaning and of its spiritual archetype, through this understanding and this knowing, we become changed in the ways that I just mentioned. The being that we are becomes changed, so that we no longer perceive in the way that we did. We no longer operate in the way that we did prior to this understanding, prior to this revelation. And the esoteric teaching is that when we die, the sum of our learning from this life remains. Our bodies disintegrate, but the sum of our learning and of our experience remains and is absorbed by our individuality, which is higher than our personality. Our individuality will last through our spiritual evolution. Just as our spirit is eternal, our individuality will last through the duration of our spiritual evolution, and then we'll become one with our spirit. We will become a unity. We will have dispensed with our bodies through our lifetimes, and our personalities, they will be gone, they will be no longer needed. Even our individuality will be gone, because it will be absorbed and become one with our eternal spirit, and we will become gods in our own right. That's my belief, and there are many people who believe it as well. So yeah, I think in trying to explain to you what I meant by cooperate with the spiritual evolution and the purpose of life, I have explained it to myself, and I feel clearer now about my thoughts and my beliefs in that area. So I am going to say goodbye now because I'm almost home, and I will see you next time, guys. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.